I'm a self-proclaimed Disney guy. I usually watch every one of their movies, whether it be in the cinema, bored at a friend's house, or on a streaming service I pay a monthly fee for, with an additional £20 fee to watch a movie a few months early. If you watched my Soul video, you'd know I was very happy that you didn't have to pay for the Premier Access, a stupid marketing tactic by Disney to taunt people into spending $30 to buy a movie, with the main gimmick being, well, you get to keep the movie. No, the whole shtick of keep being fake, as you have to continue paying your membership to keep the movie. I bit the bullet though, legally. One movie later and it was good. Yeah, I'm not gonna hate at a movie like I've done plenty of times in the past, but if you're new here and you don't know me too well, I'm Andrew, and you can subscribe if you want to, but you're probably better off waiting until the end of the video to make up your mind. Also, here's a spoiler warning if you care. Without further ado, Raya and the Last Dragon. What makes this movie good? And ultimately, even though I enjoy the film, what makes it a worse version of Moana? This video is an opinion piece and you're fine to have your own opinion. My only request is you watch till the end and then judge. As typical with any Disney movie, the animation is astonishing and the amount of detail in the little things is staggering. And it's even more impressive considering a large bulk of the work done for Raya was done over lockdown, meaning that the animators worked from home. You take that into consideration and notice that there's no real problems with the animation, and it just makes it all the more impressive than it usually is. It's quite early to mention this, however, it would be a massive injustice to not give credit to the choreography and the fight scenes in this movie. The several times that Raya fights are all really fun to watch, and I could be like, oh, the low angle does XYZ thing, but I won't. It's just cool. And if you have a fun time watching a fight with any media, the animators have done a good job, and I'll leave that there. I really like it when animated movies go for a different animation style, hence why I love Spider-Verse so much. And even though Disney has low-key cursed animated cinema with a really generic character design, guys, the curse is being lifted. Don't lose hope. Okay, but the times that Disney do deviate from the norm and experiment, they almost always end up making something really fun and cool, and it sucks they don't experiment more. There's about 1 minute of footage in Raya where they go for cel-shaded lighting, and even though it isn't any real change in art style, it's used in Raya as a form of showing thoughts and is really quick storytelling, on top of looking really clean as well. Speaking of storytelling, Raya takes place in a fictional world called Kamandra, inspired by Southeast Asia, Kamandra being a vast world, with plenty of unique environments, all being named after body parts of a dragon. Oh yeah, dragons are here. You've got fang, spine, talon, tail and heart. I'm not going to go into much detail, but essentially, all of these nations lived in peace until some unknown gas comes out of nowhere and turns everyone into stone. Then a family of dragons come and put all of their power into an orb in order to ward off the, what are they called? Drun. Yeah, they're called Drun. And there was a power struggle for the orb, and that's why the long-lasting peace suddenly turned into a massive war. Blah blah blah, the Heart Nation has the orb, and they invite the other nations over to create peace. And then our protagonist Raya makes friends with the daughter of the Fang Nation. The daughter then betrays Raya, and next thing you know, the orb is broken and Drun comes back, wreaking havoc yet again and killing Raya's dad. Now Raya, with a family member dead, seeks to find Zizi, the last dragon. Hey. And then the two of them seek out to find all the pieces of the orb after Raya finds out Zizi can't create anything.
Can't you just make another one?
No, I can't just make another one.
Raya and the Last Dragon is a MacGuffin plot, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, other movies do it better. But anyway, the more interesting aspect of the story is Raya having trust issues, and over the story, learning the power of friendship and teamwork. It isn't a unique story arc on its own, but you look at Raya's situation, and it's understandable why she has trust issues, because everyone's out to get her. How would you feel if you were in that situation? Yeah, not good. So who's your supporting cast?
Still have a big chunk of it.
I don't like the supporting cast that much, apart from this guy. He's cool. Raya and the Last Dragon has a large main cast, and it gradually expands as Raya travels on her journey. Initially it wasn't a problem when it was only Raya and Zizi, but then they added a kid called Boone, who's a little chef boy, and had his family eradicated by the drone. And then after that they added the funny con baby, the baby who had their mother killed by the drone. And then after that, they've got Tong, who's big brawly Disney man, who appears in every Disney movie. Tong is the last survivor of the Spine Nation, as everyone he knows got killed by the drone. It's not until the end of the movie, but what makes Namari, this chick by the way, stop being a quote-unquote villain, is her losing her mum to the drone. Hey, did you notice a trend? Everyone has been affected by the drone. Yeah, it's for the characters to relate to each other, and gives each of them a reason to fight for saving who they love. It also makes the ending way better. It's not all good though. Having a main cast this large means that the runtime is split between characters, and after they initially join Raya, they barely get any screen time or development. It also doesn't help that these characters are pretty stereotypical. Stereotypical in the way that they try to subvert your expectations, but they fail because these characters have been done so many times. Like take for example Tong, this big burly man. He's got a soft side, what he cares for is little babies. And then you got the baby, who's really cute, but really smart, subverting the expectation that babies are dumb. Haha, dumb baby. And then you have the supposedly noble hero character that is built up to be really cool and strong. And then you meet them, and they're bum. Oh, don't get me started on Zizi. Zizi is the worst character in this movie out of a largely enjoyable cast. The only character I similarly dislike is Namari, but the point of her character was to be disliked until she felt the same pain Raya felt. Zizi is an annoying character who makes really stupid references to Western society, mentioning a group project at one point and having some stupid bit about credit score. And Disney films tend to have stupid little references as a funny joke for the kids at home to be like, ha ha ha, I love it. But Raya is more of a gritty film, as in there's no musical here. Its main focus is fighting. Commander having these jokes that aren't relevant to Asian culture is just awkward, and immediately drags you out of the immersion. Heck, Zizi's character isn't the only problem here. Raya also acts independently most of the time, almost to a point where it seems like self-sabotage, which was definitely intentional by the writers as it shows Raya's lack of trust, but it doesn't stop us, the audience, from feeling bad watching it. Like Namari and her posse would be rocking up the Fang, and Raya is like, I'm gonna take them all on my own. You guys gotta go. Oh, what? And then as you expect, Raya gets beat up. Then our favourite same face syndrome looking ass comes in to save the day. Raya also randomly gets way better at one-to-one combat, which doesn't negatively affect the movie, but it's sort of annoying seeing X character lose just for the sake of losing, then they randomly win later on with no training or reason for winning. I don't know. After I finished the movie, I went to YouTube, as you do, and I watched my favourite media reviewer, Schaffrillas Productions, and his opinions matched mine, and he drew a comparison to Moana, and I sat there and thought about it. And yeah, he is right. It is similar to Moana. Oddly similar. If you know me, Moana is one of my favourite movies. I made a cover of You're Welcome when I was 13, and it haunts me to this day.
What can I say except you're welcome?
But I was thinking about it more in depth. I think that Moana succeeds in a similar way to Raya, but it succeeds in a way that I think is more satisfying than Raya. The two movies tick the same list in terms of characters, albeit Moana has a considerably smaller cast, meaning they can spend more time on the characters. Moana is a MacGuffin plot, albeit it gets derailed for a period of time, as we get introduced to a new character, Maui, and we have to go get his hook. The plot in Moana is a lot more naturally flowing and it doesn't feel arbitrary. The story naturally evolves to the conclusion, whereas Raya and the Last Dragon flows like a commentary video, showing a title card for an area, which I want to say isn't inherently bad. You could argue that it's more streamlined than Moana, but that's not the only comparison I drew between the films. Here's a few more. The very beginning of the movie has a very different style, to set up the world. Both movies start with our protagonists as kids, to show their main character arc. There's an evil virus that wipes out life, and that's the enemy, not a real, tangible villain. There's a very powerful mythological figure that has the power to fix everything, and then when our protagonist finds him, they turn out to be a bit of a poofter. They both emphasize boats. Moana and Maui develop most of their relationship on the boat, and the boat is used to get Maui and Moana from A to B, whereas Raya and company have a strategic reason for using boats, as the Drun don't like water. We don't know why. Also in Raya, they create a bond on the boat, the bond in question being as strong as the bond between me and Logan Paul. The conflict is resolved in a very cliche, the enemy was the friend the entire time. Albeit in Raya it's more nuanced as you can actually sympathise with Namari, whereas you don't know about the Te Fiti twist until Moana finds out the twist at the final few minutes of the film. I say that like it's a bad thing, but Moana works way better as a film than I think Raya does. The format of Raya would have lent itself way better into being a miniseries, and that's because there's too much going on to give proper time to develop everyone. Moana having two main characters is basically what Raya would have been if it was only Raya and Zizi, except Zizi is exponentially more annoying than Maui. I think the pacing of Moana is fantastic, and the songs are a really smart way of progressing the story. I could be wrong, but Raya and the Last Dragon feels more stilted pacing wise, and that is likely not only because there's too much going on, but also because they don't have songs to rely on. It takes 20 minutes for Raya to get the current day. It takes Moana 12, and the 12 minutes for Moana doesn't feel like exposition, as they've got a song to leverage a time skip. whereas Raya takes its nice time, and then it shows a little card with the caption 6 years later. It's so uncreative. There's also other problems that Raya apparently has. Apparently it doesn't accurately represent Southeast Asian culture. I can't confirm or deny that, but if anyone in the comments wants to take a stab at it, fire away. So I'll ask the main question again. What makes Raya and the Last Dragon a worse version of Moana? Personally, for me, I prefer Moana because the story of Moana has a smaller cast, and that allows both Maui and Moana to be properly developed. They both had a real chemistry, and they were a properly built up duo. Also, it didn't feel rushed, and there was also Tamatoa. Also, it felt less formulaic because it came before Frozen 2 and Raya. Raya and the Last Dragon compared to Moana feels like Moana with a better villain, a more relatable main character, but that's subjective, and way more content shoved into it that ruins the pacing of the film, leading me to my conclusion. Raya would have been better as a 78 episode miniseries, and more importantly, it's not worth the $30. You're better off watching Moana, a god tier movie with a god tier decapod. And with that, thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you watched, and if you want to watch more of what I make, go ahead, please, I'm begging you. I hope you decided to subscribe and comment. Thanks, so bye, have a good one.